So let's say you've carved a pumpkin. Well, one dad from Highland puts us all to shame. His pumpkin creations are high on the wow factor, and your kids will flip with wonder and amazement. I wouldn't say he's giving us a carving lesson today, but maybe a little bit of inspiration. We're so pleased to welcome Reimschiissel, the carving chisel, to Studio 5 today. It's great to meet you.
Yes, good to meet you.
Is that your real name, Reimschiissel?
Reimschiissel.
This just worked out for you.
It did. It played out perfectly. It looks a little intimidating because it's so long, but it's Reimschiissel, so pretty easy.
Reimschiissel, the chisel. We love it. That's what they called you said when you were little.
Yeah.
And it's now turned into, is this a hobby? Is this a career?
It's just a hobby, you know, it's just fun. I've always been into art, so it just fits well with what I do.
You credit your mom for kind of promoting that inner artist.
Yes.
When did you actually start realizing the pumpkin potential?
Yeah, we just, like a lot of families do, we get together, carve pumpkins at Halloween.
Yeah.
And I've always loved faces, and pumpkins are all about faces. And so I would watch my mom do caricatures, and I'm like, I could do that on a pumpkin. And so I started doing it 3D, and yeah, when I was 16, actually, I did a lantern pumpkin that was also 3D. And the local newspaper was like, hey, let's put you in and you can be famous, you know? Like, it was fun though. I was like, oh sweet, I'm in the newspaper and I'm 16 for pumpkin carving.
That's amazing. And was it trial and error then? I mean, you talk about 3D, the shadowing and the depth that's required to create that illusion, essentially. Was that just trial and error for you?
Absolutely. It was a lot of trial and error. You know, there wasn't anyone really doing it at the time. I found a couple people that I think it online didn't even exist. I don't know how I found somebody was doing it, but I found some examples of others that have done it.
Yeah.
And also since followed them on social media.
You're crazy talented, and here's another thing you're good at, not having to deal with the pumpkin guts.
Yes.
You just attack the surface.
Don't even go into it. Yeah,
Don't mess with it.
Carve right on the surface.
What was that we're looking at? That Santa Claus? Is that a big Santa Claus?
Oh, that one is kind of like some kind of creature of sorts.
Okay.
I just carved that one in 2 hours.
Creature of imagination. What did your family think of this?
They just enjoy it. They think it's so fun. Again, my mom, she's super proud. She just loves coming to events that I carve at and being like, yeah, this is my son. And my kids do the same thing. Like, that's dad. And
they're so proud.
They love it.
So let's start with the Hulk here. Will you tell me what went into this? Like, let's talk time first. How long did this take?
That took, I didn't even keep track. It probably took three or 4 hours maybe.
3 or 4 hours.
Yeah, I actually was going to do something else because I like the shape of the pumpkin, but it was kind of green. I'm like, I should do the whole.
Does the shape of the pumpkin speak to you? Like what you end up creating?
It does. It sounds kind of funny, but I actually go off of the pumpkin a lot.
But in this case, the internal color was like, wait a minute, I want to be the Hulk.
Yep.
What else have you brought for us?
Yeah, just some fun little guys I've carved. Little guy here, this guy, just kind of a goofy face, and then I'll hopefully get to this one here in a bit, but this one in a jar is kind of fun. It's from a delicata, and I just carved it and put it in some vinegar, and it'll stay indefinitely.
Gosh. What does it look like when you work? Describe your process.
So I kind of sit down for a few minutes and just look at the pumpkin and see what might fit in it. I love to use the entire surface of the pumpkin and try to make a face with it.
So that's your challenge, is what can I,
I try to find what angle
Yeah.
it's going to be, and then I'll pull out a few of my favorite tools. I mainly use clay loop tools.
What's that?
It's a good sculpting tool. I actually have a few right here.
Like this
so
guy?
that is one.
Okay.
That's one. Just anything that sculptors use. It works perfect for pumpkins.
Okay.
And you just use larger ones and bigger ones. As you get down to the detail, you get smaller tools.
Okay, and you've gone, I mean, we saw the big scale stuff, but you go mini too, which is an interesting effect.
Yeah, I've done, very large ones, which is a challenge in of itself.
Yeah.
1,300 pounders, and then I've done some as big as my thumb, just any size. It's just...
Look at the detail. The thing I'm kind of intrigued with is I was always told faces are hard, but you like faces. You like drawing the detail and the movement.
Yes, absolutely. I've always loved faces. I don't know, because you can just do so much with it. And especially at Halloween, you can have the face, but then you can go further and start to turn it into a zombie or a skeleton. And so it's just unlimited, the possibility.
Does it usually end up looking like what is in your head, or does it always take a twist and turn in some way?
It typically takes a twist at some point. And there's almost 50% of the time, there's going to be a point where I'm like, oh, I'm a failure. This isn't going to work. But I just have to remind
Hulk says
myself.
otherwise.
Yeah,
Hulk
just
says
keep
you're not.
going.
He says you are a superhero in your own right. Okay,
Thank you.
Aaron's way too talented to just let this end at one conversation. So we're going to keep you around the entire hour. Tell us what's going to happen to this lovely
So
wash.
yeah, I usually take a bit longer, but to fit something in an hour or so,
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to do a simple face, not
Okay.
an open mouth, just maybe a smile,
Okay.
and just see what happens. I don't really have anything planned. I'm just gonna do a face.
We love the
Free for all,
freestyle. We
yeah.
love it. We'll keep tabs on you throughout the show.
Okay.
Check in, and can't wait to see what happens to this pumpkin by the end of this show. Thank you so much. You're
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
talented. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you so
Where
much.
can we see more of your designs?
So if you're on Instagram or Facebook, it's the Carving Chisel
The
with
carve
a
and
Z.
chisel. Okay. All right. You can see him there and see more here as we check in throughout the hour on this kind of pumpkin challenge. Thanks again. We'll talk
Yeah.
to you in a few. We are approximately, don't get nervous over there, at the halfway point. Our dad from Highland, Aaron Reimschiissel, is showing all of us up with his mad, crazy, amazing pumpkin carving skills. How's it going over there, my new friend? What? There's a nose. You said you were gonna do closed mouth. I see some teeth. There's teeth. Look at that detail taking shape. Does he have a name yet?
Together.
His characters. Okay, so do you build a story kind of as you carve? Like, who is this creature?
Yeah.
Who is this person?
Yeah, he's kind of a goofy one with his teeth coming out a little bit. We'll see what I do with the eyes, but
I was looking around the studio to see if there was any inspiration, but no, you said goofy, and now I can't attach him to anyone on the team for sure. Is this a thing? I wanted to ask you, is this like an art form? Are more people carving pumpkins like you?
there are a few that carve pumpkins seriously. It unfortunately, because of its nature of rotting pretty quickly, it's not going to be in a museum or anything for long term. But I think a lot of people take it very seriously.
Oh my gosh! Well, we're glad you do. This is fun to watch, and the finished reveal. We got to come up with a name with them. That's the challenge on the table too.
I like that.
This guy needs a name. We'll check back in with Aaron in just a little bit. Thanks so much. So we've been watching throughout the show. Pumpkin carver Aaron Reimschiissel has shared his talents with us in real time. This is really cool. This is so cool. Remind us the original vision. What did you set out to do?
So I just knew I needed to keep it simple, so I'd have like a closed mouth. I really had no vision at all. I just started to carve, and it made itself
manifest.
Yeah.
It's amazing to me that you artsy types can do that, like set out and kind of, we joked about letting the pumpkin speak to you, but really there's something about the process that it kind of developed as you went. Can we show?
Yeah.
Can we introduce our
let's turn
new
it
friend?
around.
Did we name him? Look at
You know, maybe something like Jimmy seems to fit.
Jimmy. Hey, Jimmy. Hey, okay.
He's definitely an artist. This is an artist face. You know, every artist has the face
that you make when you're at work. I came over as you were finishing Jim's eyes, and I just have to say that the detail on that eyeball, the open eye, there's the winky eye, but look at that. And you were kind of giving his eyebrows a little sprucing up when I walked over.
Yeah, it was my last minute.
Yeah, little frantic little like, groom the guy, groom the guy. What's the hardest feature to pull off on a pumpkin?
It really is the eyes, because
that's,
you get to the you know, the back of the pumpkin, you start going through, and it's harder to add the detail.
I was watching you throughout the hour as I kind of moved around the studio. One thing that surprised me is you stayed fairly close. Like I would think with the 3D effect, you'd be kind of backing up to see the shadows, but up close you can kind of see what you need to see to create that dimension. Yeah,
it's definitely good to stand back and take a look, but you know, when you've got a short amount of time, you just keep going.
When you've got a whole TV studio breathing down your neck. You just press through. Do you have any, I mean, we could never expect to rise to your level in talent. That's not what I'm asking here, but do you have any tips for the at-home carver to maybe level up our game this Halloween?
Yeah, I mean, for those that want to get into 3D carving, you can try using like a potato, and again, get some of these loop tools. You can get them at any art store, but for those that are at home, I think the funnest thing you could do with your kids is just find some veggies that you can put on a pumpkin.
Oh, hey.
Kind of like you would put candy on a gingerbread house or something.
Yeah.
Just get some and put it on a pumpkin, and you'll be surprised what can happen. Because my kids and I, we did a little witch, we did some other stuff. It's fun. So
looking at household objects, fruit, vegetables, the shape of it, and seeing what you can create.
Yeah, cucumber for a nose.
That's fun.
You know, all this stuff.
That's super fun. Where can we see some of your work this year?
So I'm on the Carving Chisel, so you can follow me on there. I'm gonna be at a couple places Friday night. So
Okay.
we'll be at Mulligans at 6 and Daybreak a little bit earlier.
So you're live carving out there? How fun to see. Well, thank you for
Yeah,
kind of
thank
kicking
you.
off,
It's
or I
fun.
guess wrapping up our Halloween week this week. It was so fun to see your talent at work and fun to see the joy you bring to, and kind of in a new way to the Halloween season. We appreciate it.
Yeah, it was fun.
Nice
Thank you.
work. Good job, Jimmy. I like it.
Jimmy.
I like it.